Good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Los Angeles. My name is Jacqueline T.D. Huynh, and thank you for being here with me this morning. Today, the topic is going to be about how to get a greater level of personal satisfaction and enhance your relationship with your family members, with your coworkers, with your friends. So if that's what you want, you're here in the right place. Before I talk about it, though, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this and a little bit about me. So I'm the owner of Integrative Minds. What I do with Integrative Minds is I help people become the leader that people want to follow. So if you're a parent, your children are following what you're saying, what you're doing. If you are a business owner, your team members and your employees are highly engaged. So everybody around you are highly engaged and want to follow what you want to do, your ideas, your thoughts. So I assist my client in creating the family of their dreams. And the family could be your own family, as in your children or your spouse, or it could be your family at work or your extended family. So my Harmonious Family Blueprint 3-month program that will forever change your family is what I promote and why I'm doing this 30-day Facebook Live challenge. And what I talk about in the next 30 days are all in my program, and actually even more. We want to transform you and your family and really help you create a foundation that's going to bring you more harmony, more happiness and excitement, as well as keeping that boundary and balance in values that your family will be creating if you don't have one already. So at the end, I can talk more about it. If I'm offering 30-minute complimentary sessions to see if you're fit for the program, what's going on in your life, so you can email me at info@integrativeminds.com. The email address is also in the notes. So today, we're going to talk about how to get a greater level of personal satisfaction while enhancing your relationship with other people, especially your family member. These are the key people in your life, right? So in order to do that, we have to talk about emotional intelligence. This is the key. This is the key to creating a higher level of satisfaction, engagement, and in relationship with others. And there's 3 key aspects of emotional intelligence. 1 is the awareness of your emotion. 2, it's how you express it. And 3, how you manage it. So I'm going to go through each one of these aspects of emotional intelligence. And now I'm sure all of you have heard of this this sentence, emotional intelligence. And hi, Dean. Thank you for joining. But what is it, right? In the coaching world, we have tests that measure people's emotional intelligence. But I think that a lot of people don't really understand what it is. I wanted to break it down for you so that you can really understand what it is, get the aspect of it. And I'm going to give you some key things that you can do to start improving your EI. That's what we call in the industry EI today. So first of all, what is emotional intelligence? It's the capacity to be aware of, be able to control and express your emotion, and be able to help control other people's emotion, right? Because if you notice, if you stay calm, even though someone else is angry or upset, you're able to bring them down to the level of calmness. So it's also about helping others if you stay calm, and how to handle interpersonal relationship. So the first aspect of emotional intelligence is, first you have to be aware of your emotion, right? What you experience, what we experience outwardly from other people and from our inside, inwardly, everything has a purpose. it has something for us to learn. And I talked about button pushing. I think that was yesterday or the day before. These buttons were created by us, and it's for us to learn something to get rid of us. Because when you think about it, we weren't born with these buttons. We weren't born with anger and frustration and sadness. You know, when you look at a baby, they're just happy. They're at peace, they're joyful, and I think that's why a lot of us loves looking at a baby sleeping, because you feel that energy of peace and joy and just pure bliss. But something happens throughout our life and we develop these negative emotion and we create those buttons. So think about it. You created it somehow. And so, hi Kathleen, you created these negative emotion. You created the buttons. And so you can get rid of it, right? So first it's about the first thing about emotional intelligence is being aware of your emotion. So first you got to get rid of emotions being good or bad. They're not good or bad. Really, they're a signal for you to notice and to do something about it. It's the same as pain. When you feel physical pain, it's for you to act on it. Do I ice it? Do I go to the doctor? Or do I just need to rest? So emotions are the same thing as the pain. So when you recognize it, then you can interpret it. And recognizing your emotions come from their interpretation of an event, because usually it's connected to something that happened, because everyone interprets an event differently based on their past experience, right? You've noticed this if you're in a room. I talked about an example yesterday where I was in a meeting and someone kept interrupting, and we had all different responses. Some people were really annoyed by this one of the lady interrupting, and someone else was just kind of like, okay, sit down and we'll get to you. And for me it was kind of a little funny because I knew this person was just really excited, and I looked at it as more excitement and not annoyance. So same situation, same person doing the same thing, 3 different interpretations. So think about that, right? So what would you like to have a greater level of interpersonal effectiveness? Would you like to increase your level of personal satisfaction? Would you like to enhance relationships? And in general, would you like a more positive impact on the people that follow you? So emotional intelligence research shows that a high level of emotional intelligent awareness will give you all of these things, okay? And it will help you lead others into having these things. So you can be this amazing person that's gifting it to yourself as well as gifting it to others. So how do you do this? Okay, first of all, you have to take a step back. This is probably the hardest thing, is to taking a step back and being aware of your emotion. Observe what is going on, right? This is what I talked about, the difference between a response and a reaction. There's 5 seconds between the two. So it's that stepping back, taking a breath, observing what is going on, what could be triggering it from a past event. And then notice, and this is really notice where your body is feeling it, whether it's anger or frustration, or maybe even a time of joy and peace, because you'll notice your body reacts very differently when you're joyful and when you're angry. And then notice where the thoughts and the feelings that run through your mind when you have these particular emotional reaction. Are you someone who wears your heart on your sleeve and people can just kind of read you like a book? Are you thoughtful and considerate, and even if you disagree with someone, you're really thoughtful about it? Excuse me. Are you approachable? Maybe you're really authentic and you're present with others. And you may be someone who shows little or no emotions at all, depending on the emotion. So all these things is a factor on where your emotions are coming from. And when you start to be aware of it, you're going to be able to have the better ability to express it and manage it. So the next the next key aspect of emotional intelligence, after being aware of it, is now expressing your emotion, right? So many people believe that you're not supposed to express emotions at all. I find this a lot in the workplace, like the men are supposed to be stoic. They can't show emotion because somehow makes them a weaker manager or a weaker boss if they show emotion. And they'll apologize for it profusely if they even show, themselves crying or getting emotional. And I also hear a lot in family, boys aren't, don't cry, you're a boy, you know what I mean? Like, boys don't cry. And this gives the wrong message to our boys, I think, a lot. Because most often in relationship, it's the lack of emotional expression which is the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge in a couple when the other person can't feel that you're emotional about something. And it's also in the workplace. When you see your boss having emotion and caring, even crying a little bit, it creates a connectiveness. Like, oh my gosh, they're human. They're just like me. They feel. So the reality is we are emotional beings. That's what we are. And when we don't allow emotions to express, what we create is even more negative energy inside of us, right? And then that's where you see people exploding over something so tiny. It's because they kept all of that. Now, there are two kinds of expression of emotion. There's an appropriate expression, and then there's an inappropriate expression of emotion. I'm sure you guys can think of many things in the family where people have appropriately and inappropriately expressed emotion. I had coached a business, and the owner of the company had called my company to fix their employees because they were all just going crazy is what they were saying. They were coming to the owners and complaining about everybody and threatening to quit, and it was just mayhem. And we came and we did stakeholders interview. We spent 2 days. I think we did like 60 interviews of employees, managers, executives to find out where was this all coming from. Well, one of the things that we found out was one of the biggest complaints from the employee was that the owners, there was 2 owners, and they would leave their door open and they would be screaming at each other, or they would call an employee in and they would be screaming at the employee and everybody would hear it. They'd be walking through the hallway and, yelling about their unhappiness and whatever it is that they're not happy about. And it was causing a lot of stress to the employees, as well as setting an example that this was okay to do. This inappropriate expression of emotion is how you handle when you get frustrated. And if the boss can do it, well, why can't I? Right? So think of a parent that you heard screaming at their child in the store, or maybe a friend in a playground, or someone when they're slamming their door because they're disgusted at what you did, or maybe you did that. You slammed the door because you were disgusted at someone or something, right? So someone can be really highly expressive and really show low signs of emotional intelligence because it was inappropriately expressed. So emotional intelligence is not about just expressing emotion, it's about expressing it appropriately at the appropriate time. So instead of slamming the door or yelling, what you want to do is acknowledge and validate. There's another video that I talk about how to acknowledge and validate. So go back to that so you can see examples of how to do that. And then share your perspective with the other person. And then do the same for them so that you're expressing it appropriately. So the third key aspect of emotional intelligence is now managing and controlling your emotion. And once you can do this, you can actually help manage and control other people's emotion. You can bring them down, or you can actually raise it. you see this in great leaders like Martin Luther King, JFK, Madame Teresa, Maya Angelou, Tony Robbins. If you've ever been to a Tony Robbins seminar, you know that he has control of everybody's emotion there. He can raise it, and he can make people cry and let it go. So don't ever believe that you don't have that strength inside of you. So you want to be able to help shift other people's mood, their emotion in a positive way. This is about first having self-control of yourself during your stressful time. And this is not a science, this is an art. So while I can give you some steps on helping you get there, every single person will have their own nuances, an artful way of getting there. And so, for example, think about a time when you were at home relaxing and you received a phone call from someone telling you that you had to come right away to deal with this minor crisis. Maybe you got frustrated, maybe you got angry, and maybe even you got resentful that you were being requested or ordered to do this because you were relaxing, you were having your own personal time, right? So imagine this is a real situation for you. So first, I want you to consider how you could shift your mood, which is obviously negative at this point of the reaction. And if you weren't able to do so, how could you still maintain your self-control and not lash out at the other person? Remember that our emotion is just that. It's our emotion. And we may not think at the time, but we created those emotions. And so you can also recreate them at any time you choose. So now it's about choice, right? I believe choice is the most powerful energy. It's more powerful than love. It's more powerful than anger, more powerful than fear, because you have to choose all of those things. And I always say that when you can master your choice, you're going to master your destiny and any outcome that you would want. So you want to choose how you see things in a different perspective. Once you can see things in a different perspective, you're going to be able to shift your perspective in one that you know that is a higher emotional level. You're going to shift your perspective accordingly. And instead of you now being the cause of the outcome, I mean being the effect of the outcome, you are now the cause of the outcome. And so that's the most important thing, is you being the cause of things and not being the victim and the effect of it. So to summarize, the 3 key points in creating a greater level of personal satisfaction, enhancing relationship with others, and even helping other people raise their level of enjoyment and emotions is emotional intelligence. And there's 3 key aspects of emotional intelligence: is being aware of your emotion, of expressing it appropriately, and being able to manage and control it. So this is one thing emotion that we go through in my 3-month program. So it's just a small part of one tiny module, and we go through 10 modules in the 3-month program. So we go pretty in depth with examples and exercises for you and your family to create more emotional intelligence. Before I end though, I'm going to also give you 3 things that you can do right now to increase your EI. But I want you to know that this program is an amazing program that's going to transform who you are and who your family is. I am offering a 30-minute interview session to see if this program is a fit for you and if you're ready for the program. And it's a great, valuable session, and I actually usually charge $250 for the session, but you guys are here today, and I don't have to teach it to you again. Hi, Larry. Thank you for joining. So the session is complimentary, so email me at info@integrativeminds.com. So before I end, I told you that I was going to give you 2 things you can do right now to increase your EI. One thing is that you can seek out others to give you assistance objectively, people that you trust, that are coming from love, and provide you with observation of how they experience you expressing, managing, and controlling your emotions. And for me, I ask my kids. My kids are my biggest assistants. I'll sit down with them and we talk about, how is mommy expressing my emotion? And even after an incident, I ask them, how did mommy manage that? Did you like it? How would you like it differently? How did it feel to you? Your children love you and they want you to be the best person that you can be, and nothing they say is personal. And so they are the best people to assist you in becoming a better person. Another thing you can do is to interview, if you know anybody that you feel have a high level of emotional intelligence, interview them. Ask them, learn from them what their strategy is, and how they respond to stressful situation. What did they do to increase EI and decrease these stressful situation? You're going to learn a lot. So before I leave, I wanted to leave you with a quote, a final quote that I love. Change can happen in an instant, but you have to take that chance and make that choice. And when you master choice, you master your destiny. So if you want more information, go ahead and email me at info@integrativeminds.com. Please share this video. I just want to get it out to more people. Thank you everybody for joining me today, and come back tomorrow. I'm actually going to be doing it a little bit later than noon, my usual time. I have a lunch meeting with a friend, enjoying myself, and this wonderful, beautiful weekend. So I am going to be doing it at 6 p.m. tomorrow instead of noon. So have a wonderful weekend, Larry and Dean, Kathleen, for joining me. And if you have any questions after you've listened to this video, please leave it in the message. Thank you very much.